I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Machtails from the Cantina Live, the annual Christmas special, Part 2. Ho, ho, ho. Is your cheer meter low? We are here to raise your Christmas spirits. On tonight's show, some really good friends will be stopping by to help us celebrate the Yuletide season.
Ready, Rudolph?
Ready, Santa!
Rankin historian himself, Rick Goldschmidt, is here.
Oh, mind your step. Be careful. There's an icy patch there.
Richard and Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland are also here to talk all things Disney Christmas. The train also makes a stop at Malfunction Junction, and we visit our old friend, John Duffy.
There's nothing sacred.
Rich Brendel is here to share a cheer and a beer.
We don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear?
And show producer Matthew Rooney will be behind the board today, helping us manage all this chaos. Grab yourself your favorite holiday cocktail.
Give me the beer.
Mulled wine, heavy on the cinnamon and light on the cloves.
Throw a Yule log on the fire. Smoke if you got 'em. I am your show host and documentarian, Cris Macht, and we are live inside the Wampa Cave.
This really brings Christmas close to a person.
Let the Christmas festivities begin. Buddy, welcome back. 2 nights in a row, man. If you had enough of Christmas, you're in the wrong spot. If you need a little bit more Christmas spirit, we're here to do that for you. And if you don't care about Christmas at all, then you're going to get a visit from Krampus himself and maybe 3 ghosts when the clock strikes 12:01. And maybe after watching the show, you're going to have a change of heart. Hey, we got a great show for you guys today. This is live show number 2 of 3 this week. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters out there, especially the producers. You guys are the ones that I really do this show for and feel good about getting some kind of compensation because I spent too much time on those live intro videos. One guy that is underpaid and probably not thanked enough, even though I thank him every night we do a live show. Brother Matthew Rooney. Matthew, thank you for being behind that board. And thank you for putting a bow on it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And hi, everybody. Happy Christian Machtmas.
You're keeping the Christ in Christmas. You're not doing it with Sean. Sean was like Machtmas, But hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to one and all. And Matthew, it's been a while. I feel like since this is our 3rd show, I believe, of the month already, and it's already December 19th, which is absolutely nuts. But we did this thing on the live show number 50, I want to say, called Did You Know? You got some questions? Maybe I got some facts I can help you out on here?
I do.
Yeah, we got to keep this holiday oriented, though. It's a holiday show.
Yes, we have some holiday facts to put out there into the ether. So the first one that we have is, did you know the Charles Dickens classic A Christmas Carol is 180 years old today?
I did know that. I 180 years old though. That is today. I mean, today's the day, December 19th, right before Christmas, 180 years ago. It's amazing how many versions of that story there are. My favorite, we're going to talk to Richard and Sarah about this later on, is my personal favorite is the Muppet Christmas Carol. Do you have a personal rendition of the Christmas Carol?
Yeah. The Scrooge one from 1970 is my favorite, which I think Muppet Christmas Carol, a lot of that, like the visuals from that are kind of pulled, or at least they're copying the Scrooge film or the musical film from 1970.
That's
just like
the one that you said that you can only find it on YouTube. Is that correct?
Well, it's on YouTube, or at least it was last time I checked, so you can watch it for free. You don't have to pay or anything. I have a VHS copy of it too that I like to put on, but that's my favorite one. But I like the Muppet one too. I mean, it came out when I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and so we kind of watched that growing up, at least after I was 10 or 11 years old. So I love that one too. I love Michael Caine.
There's a level of nostalgia there, and man, I think this year he announced that he is retiring from all film projects, and man, he's been in some damn good ones. What a long career that he's had.
Yeah, he's had a great career, and we'll see. We'll see. Sometimes people say that, and then they come back.
Yeah, right. Like we're waiting for Kiss to do that. Ozzy did that. Maybe actors are a little different, especially Michael Caine. He's been around in the business for moons. What else do you have for us?
All right, so Jingle Bells, the popular Christmas song. I heard, or at least I was told, that Jingle Bells was not the original title. What was the original title?
The original title was One Horse Open Sleigh. And do you know who wrote that song?
I don't. I do not.
It was written by, I had to look at the name because I'm going to butcher the name, James Pierpont. And that is the uncle of J.P. Chase Bank.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that's we got James the uncle, and then John, the guy that started Chase Bank. His middle initial, Pierpont, is the last name of the author of that song. Crazy connection there. I actually heard that on the jazz station on XM radio today, and I'm like, wow, that's a deep cut. And that song goes back 1856. That's an oldie.
That's almost as old as A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, so talk about the ghosts of Christmas past. I mean, there's two right there. You got another one for us?
Yeah. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I heard that it has Chicago roots. Is that true? What are the roots in Chicago?
Yes, the roots in Chicago. Robert L. May is the guy that wrote it for Montgomery Ward. I think I had talked about this a little bit back on the very first Machtails Christmas special in the year of the pandemic, 2020. It was essentially a children's book that they gave away for free. The story was Rudolph. But I would have thought that he came from the North Pole. But, I mean, according to my daughter, that's where he comes from. But it's cool that he's got some old school Chicago roots, for sure. There's so much. God, talk about a lot of ghosts of yesteryear in Chicago. There's a lot of them.
No, a lot of these things. I mean, I knew about the Christmas Carol, of course, history, but things like Jingle Bells and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, they're just sort of they're sort of part of popular culture, and it seems like they're timeless and they've always been there. And so it's interesting to hear about where they came from.
Yeah, and timeless. They've been around for so long. And I had brother Dan Madsen on the show, and I felt like an asshole because he was on a Christmas show a couple years ago, and he considers himself a history buff. Man, I threw him under the bus with all these kind of Christmas trivia questions. But it's funny. We celebrate the season. We do all these traditions. We have all these traditions. We do all these things, and we don't know where they came from. I just think it's a nice thing to know some history on a couple of these fun little things that are part of a huge part of our celebration. Well,
I have one more. Last night on the last show that we did, we talked a lot about A Christmas Story, and the writer of that, Gene Shepard, he and Walt Disney apparently have something in common. What is that?
Yeah, they were both born in Chicago.
Okay,
both born in Chicago. Now it makes sense that Gene Shepard was born in Chicago because when I went to Hammond on Sunday, that's his hometown. That's what the Christmas Story is based on. It is literally like right over the border. So that makes sense. But I had no idea until a couple years ago that Walt Disney was born in Chicago. His house is still there. A coworker of mine, his friend that lives in California, actually owns Walt Disney's Chicago house. And they do tours and they do special events there. And I mean, it still looks very, very much like it did back then, but they've spent a lot of money, revamping it. And I want to say it is now a historical, a national landmark.
Okay.
I believe that for a long time, the person that was living in that house did not want to have anything to do with it. And then when my friend's friend had bought it, I'm pretty sure it's, you say National Landmark, right? Is it?
I think so. I mean, I don't know what that specific building, what it is, but it sounds right to me.
It's the birthplace.
Do you know how long he lived? I mean, so he was born there. Do you know how long he lived there? Because sometimes these places, they have like, the boyhood home of Johnny Cash in Arkansas. And then we have that Jim Henson place that I showed you in Mississippi, but like those guys didn't live there their whole childhoods. It was like a small part of it. So I wonder how much Walt Disney lived in Chicago.
You know what? I know he left. I want to say he probably left like before he was 6, but I know his parents had lived in Chicago well before he was born. I'm 90% sure on that. But yeah, he didn't live there very long, but he lived there long enough, and his parents even lived there before he was born. So there's definitely some Walt Disney roots. But yeah, my daughter goes, I thought he was from Orlando.
Yeah, I always associate him with I grew up in LA, and so Disneyland, like his office was there. You go to Main Street, on the historic part of Disneyland, and so I would just always imagine him being there and not anywhere else.
Yeah, crazy, right? Small world stuff. Hey, we got Rankin Bass historian Rick Goldschmidt on, but before we bring him on, I want to bring Brother Rich Brendel on. He's on here early. He's always taking a nap in the green room, and then as soon as I see he hears his name, man, he pops up. We got to do a cheer and a beer with Rich. He's got a pretty good streak going. He didn't break it yesterday, so I'm gonna bring Brother Rich Brendel on. Rich. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Man, it's 2 nights in a row. What are you cheering and beering about tonight, my brother?
Going along with the Christmas Carol theme, I think it's good to start a cheer with, to quote Scrooge from Muppet Christmas Carol, here's to that every day will end, or what is it? Oh, crap. I had it memorized. Just a minute.
You're on the spot.
Here is to, every night will end and every day will start with a grateful prayer
and a thankful heart.
And a thankful heart. You got it.
Amen,
when we approach Christmas like that, we're going to get through all the Cousin Eddies and all the other crap that goes on.
That is very well said, man.
And we will end as Clark Griswold ended in Christmas Vacation by just looking back, smiling, and saying, I did it.
Amen to that, brother.
So,
Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah, to survival. And this is Christmas cheer, or holiday cheer by Shriners. But in honor of the spirit, I got a little captain here.
Oh, there you go. That used to be Christmas in a glass. So you're mixing that with the Shiners?
Yeah.
You got a little Captain Floater on the Shiner beer there. We had lost Rich before he slammed his beer. Unbelievable. You know what? I think when he put the rum floater in the beer, the ghost of Christmas past said, no way in hell is that going to happen tonight. So, hey, you know what? If he comes back, we will be here bringing him back. But stick around, grab yourself a fresh drink, hit the head before we bring on Rick Goldschmidt, Rankin Bass historian here to talk about a lot of really cool stuff that is part of our tradition. I have some retro commercials to show your way. So enjoy these. Sit back and relax.
Over the years, us guys in Light Beer from Miller have had a lot of laughs, but this time we'd like to share some personal sentiments. Boo?
Have a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and a Happy New Year, too.
Yeah.
And this holiday, may there be bass under all your lily pads.
May all your pockets be full. Feliz Navidad. Peace.
We wish you everything you always wanted in a Christmas.
And more.
You know, I'm glad they asked me to do this commercial. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas will be here before you know it. So Pepsi-Cola invites you to save on some very special gifts inspired by a very special mouse. Details of these great values are on Mickey Mouse's general store displays at participating stores. There are Mickey Mouse watches, hi-fi radios, cameras, and more. Even a free Disney hand puppet. Just save proofs of purchase from Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, and Mountain Dew. Order early and try not to open before Christmas.
CBS, what's coming on?
On Friday night, blast off to a galaxy far, far away. It's the Star Wars Holiday Special, starring all your Star Wars favorites. Will Chewbacca get home to his planet in time for the big Wookiee holiday celebration? Find out on the star-studded Star Wars Holiday Special, Friday at 8/7 Central and Mountain.
You're on.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Without further ado, I would love to bring on somebody that last joined us on the Easter show. Rick, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, man. You know, God, Rankin Bass and Christmas go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. You've been super busy. Is this the busiest time of the year? And what are you promoting that's most current?
Well, we're going to do a seventh book on the 50th anniversary of The Year Without a Santa Claus and 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. They both turned 50 next year, and Rudolph turned 60. So it's going to be a pretty busy year. I already have a couple of conventions lined up. The Great Lakes Comic-Con in February. I think it's the third week in February, and that's in Warren, Michigan. And then I'm going to be at the Carlisle Comic-Con in the third week of October. And at that particular con, they're going to have Linda Miller from Rankin Bass's King Kong Escapes. And I've appeared with her before in the past. We both shared a friendship with Arthur Rankin Jr. Arthur actually picked her for King Kong Escapes. And my buddy Jackson Bostwick, who played Captain Marvel in Shazam's going to be there. And next year is the 50th anniversary of that show. So a lot of anniversaries.
Yeah, a lot of anniversaries coming up. You know, I love all the Rankin Bass specials. I was on my way back from Orlando, Disney World, and it was right after Thanksgiving. And I got lucky because there was a Rankin Bass marathon on TBS or something like that, and it really helped the plane ride go quickly. One special that I had watched was Little Drummer Boy 2. And I've seen Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey, and, you know, there's a lot of, or I should say a handful of the Rankin Bass specials that have a very nice spiritual tone to them. You know, the true meaning of Christmas, what we're celebrating, right? And do you know, were these guys that were strong in their faith, or were they just like, hey, we make Christmas specials and this is something that we want to incorporate in our story because it's part of the holiday season?
Well, the writer Romeo Muller, I'm sure, was very religious. And the Little Drummer Boy, the first one, Arthur sold the special to the network, NBC, on a Friday, and they wanted the script on a Monday. So he called Romeo up and he wrote it over the phone. His brother Gene remembers him talking to Arthur and telling him the story over the phone. So to do that, you'd have to be pretty religious and
yes,
a church-going writer. But no, Arthur and Jules and all the people involved with the specials were going for something that would last. they didn't necessarily plan that it would last 60 years for Rudolph, but they did want good quality product on the screen because Arthur always wanted to make a big budget feature film. And that never really happened, even though they did make feature films, and they did a lot of movies for television too. But the product that they put on the screen was sort of like their business card. Look at what I did here with Rudolph. Give me a bigger budget to do the next thing. So that's why they did everything with such quality and such heart and warmth. It was, we got to make something good here, not just a bunch of puppets running around.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, like you said, something that stayed with us all through the year. I think because Christmas seems to be a bigger holiday than Easter, even though the Easter specials are great. I believe that these Christmas specials, even the deep cut ones, have, to me, watching them, one thing that Rankin and Bass never changed was the consistency of the quality. Like you said, they wanted warm-hearted, good quality stuff, and you see that throughout their entire career. And I believe if you didn't have those two things, we wouldn't be talking about it today,
Right.
I think that is a big thing. One thing that I noticed too is that the only soundtrack that I've stumbled upon is the Rudolph soundtrack by Burl Ives. There is so much great music. Have they ever gotten a chance to release even half of those soundtracks? I can only find them on YouTube. Like when I want to listen to that music, I have to play the song that Thank God a Fan has clipped out and is posted on YouTube, but I can't find it on vinyl. I can't find it streaming on iTunes.
Well, I have a lot of the demo records, and I have a lot of the rare, soundtrack albums. So through me, I've made those things available, but on a bigger level, like a national release, they're really lacking right now, and they should do that. Years ago, Maury Laws and I were working with a producer that was going to bring a Broadway musical of the Rankin Bass songs. That never happened, but we were talking about it, and I wish it would have happened because it would have led to a lot more coming out on CD and vinyl now.
So you say you have in your possession a lot of the original soundtracks. Were these? I know your collection is like my friend Steven Sansweet, who owns the Guinness Book World Record Star Wars collection. I mean, you essentially have the Rankin and Bass collection on that level. Were these never released before, but you have the original master tapes?
Well, not the master tapes, but they made acetates of everything, especially the demos. And the demos would be sent to Romeo to write the scripts. And he had to work the songs into the specials so that they weren't just songs thrown into a special. They were furthering the story with the action, like put one foot in front of the other.
For sure. I think the songs are telling the story. It's very much like a musical in that respect.
Right.
The story is driven through the music. Now, are you able to make these available to the public, or you don't own the rights to them? You just own them as part of your collection?
I have been making a lot of it available to the public because Maury and I were very close, and I don't want them just to sit in my collection alone, so I've shared them, and and other people can enjoy them too.
I mean, yeah, in reality, you are, in reality, you are the ambassador for this brand. I mean, if something happens to you, what's going to happen to this franchise?
Well, all these big companies have taken over, and unfortunately, the product that they release is poor at best. The good news is in 2023, we put out Mad Monster Party on a umbrella Blu-ray, and it has all the bells and whistles that I always wanted. And they let me kind of help and give direction. So that's like a treasure trove of Rankin Bass material. But the bigger companies that own these specials now, they're not treating them right. And that's the unfortunate thing. And I put the word out that these things could be a lot better, but they really only care about the money that it's going to generate rather than the quality of the product.
Yeah, I can, unfortunately, I think that's the downside to the way that people think. It's all about the money, really. Who owns the specials today?
Well, Universal has the early specials, like from 64 to 74, and then Warner Brothers has the rest. And they just kind of partnered together and put them all together in these sets. But like I said, the sets are lacking any bonus material. All of the bonus material is really just fluff, garbage. And even the specials themselves haven't been restored properly. They're missing sound effects. They have bad edits. It doesn't even look like they went back to the masters on most of them. So hopefully they'll do that sometime in the future. Maybe it'll change hands again, and someone will wake up and do the right thing.
Yeah, amen to that. Now, I'm fascinated with the music, man. And so if somebody wants to obtain the music, do they go to a website? Do they email you directly? How does this process work? Because I would love to have these songs digitally. I mean, I love the music is just as good as the story and the stop motion itself.
Well, yeah, emailing me is probably the best bet. I have an Etsy shop too, and I have a blog, The Enchanted World of Rankin Bass.blogspot.com. And during this season, I think one day I had 27,000 visits this week. So there's a lot of people looking at my blog, and I
didn't even realize that they do that they have blogs anymore.
Yeah.
But apparently they do 27,000 views this week.
Just on one day.
Just on one day. Wow. Well,
yeah.
That's got to tell you how alive that this franchise really is.
Yeah, definitely. People are interested. And, some new things that we can talk about. Last year, I discovered a commercial. Speaking of commercials that look like the ones you just showed, Rankin Bass used to do commercials only in the late 50s and into the early 60s. And the first Christmas thing they did was a General Electric commercial campaign in 63, the year before Rudolph. And it was 3 Christmas carolers. And they're singing about the General Electric products like irons and, clocks and things like that, just like they did with Rudolph. And we found that commercial last year, and it really shows, because Maury Laws told me with the music, he tried to mimic, not copy, but sort of in the style of the Nutcracker Suite. He used instrumentation and arrangements that were similar, and that came out of the 63 commercial. So we found that last year, and then this year I heard from a guy named Bob Pierce who had a photograph of the NBC Rudolph display that was put up when Rudolph first aired in '64, and it was kept up until 1971. And I have the photograph, which will be in my next book, right here. And it kind of answers a lot of questions for me, because when the Rudolph and Santa puppets were found, the ones that Barbara Adams, the secretary for Rankin Bass, took home, these are the puppets that she took home for her niece and nephew. And they were in this big wood display case that was built into the wall at NBC at 30 Rockefeller Place. And you can see Santa is just sitting the way that he was when he was found in 2006, because his legs didn't have armature legs inside. These were the publicity puppets, and you can see by the grouping that they're the puppets that are in the photograph that was on my Rudolph book cover when it first came out, and all the other posed photographs that they took in New York. Santa, Sam, Hermie, Rudolph, three elves, and Yukon. And those are the same puppets that were in those displays. So the Santa and Rudolph puppet that was found in 2006, they're the display puppets. They weren't used in the actual animation. They were only used for publicity photos, for the Decca record album cover. Burl Ives and Johnny Marks posed with Sam and Rudolph, and then they were put in this display case, and the banner says Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, NBC TV color annually, on the GE Fantasy Hour. So they put up this big display, and I heard about it from a bunch of people that went on field trips with their school to NBC, but I never saw a picture of it. So it was great that we found this. And like I said, I'll put it in my next book. And you're always learning something new about Rankin Bass doing this work that I do. People come up with stuff.
It's amazing, right? I mean, it's amazing how long it's been around, and there's still... I find that fascinating about Star Wars too. It's like you always see behind the scenes photos that resurface. You always see new footage, that, old behind the scenes stuff. So you had recently, you said you found this commercial from '63 last year. How was it found? I mean,
well, someone
had
time
gone by, right? To just be sitting in a warehouse or a shelf somewhere,
Well, someone had it in their film collection, and then they posted it on YouTube, and then they shared it, and that's how I found it. So I knew what it was right away. Other people were saying it looks like Rankin Bass, and things like that in the comments. But
yes.
Maury Laws told me all about it, and so did Tony Peters, who designed the commercials. And Tony sent me a photograph of the three puppets that are in the commercials. So I was dying to see it, because I knew they were Christmas carolers. And, to see anything of Christmas that Rankin Bass did before Rudolph is really a treasure trove. And great stuff, and my favorite stuff that they did was the early stuff. But I just got this this magazine yesterday, Retro Fan, and I've been writing for them Rudolph or Rankin Bass articles for the last 3 or 4 years, and this one's on Frosty, and kind of goes into the Paul Coker Jr. Story, because they went to cell animation, and a lot of people ask, why did they use cell animation? Well, it was two things. That they wanted this look like a Christmas card look that Paul Coker was known for, because he did Christmas cards for Hallmark. But also, when they had a production going with the stop motion, they couldn't do two specials at the same time, because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure.
So they were working on Santa Claus is Coming to Town, so they had to go sell animation with Frosty, and they went with Mushi Productions for the animation, and they were the best at capturing that Rankin Bass look, which was the Paul Coker Jr. look right out of Mad Magazine.
And you said that was from Japan, correct?
Yeah. All of the animation was done in Japan at different studios. And when they first started, it was at Dentsu with the New Adventures of Pinocchio. And then it went to MOM, which was in Tadmo Shinaga ran that. And then they went to Toei for productions like the King Kong show and Cricket on the Hearth and Mouse on the Mayflower. And then eventually they went to Mushi for Frosty and the Reluctant Dragon and Mr. Toad show and Festival of Family Classics. All of these shows had more of a Paul Coker look to them. As time.
Paul Coker used to design the cards for Hallmark back in the day.
Right. And eventually what happened was Hallmark started using him more for their international card line. So you wouldn't so much see him in the US, but you would see him in England. So his work was kind of international. And originally, the Rankin Bass was called Videocraft International because they had the animation done in Japan, the voice work was done in Canada, the music was recorded in England. Maury Laws actually lived in England for a while, doing all the music. And then the design work was primarily done in New York. So it was an international production company.
Yeah, it sure was. What? Going back to I got to go back to the music. I love the music. What is your personal favorite soundtrack from those specials? Do you have one where front to back it is the best soundtrack for that whatever special it was?
Well, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas is a strong one. I think their best two were Santa Claus is Coming to Town with Here Comes Peter Cottontail. And I think Maury Laws agreed with that they kind of hit their high water mark because just every song in those two specials are really, really catchy and really good. But the Heat Miser and Snow Miser themes are probably what they're best known for. And I do like the Rudolph soundtrack probably the best because I think that has the most variety. And, a song like There's Always Tomorrow is a very touching song that she nailed on the first take, too. They used her first take version in the special. Bill Giles, the recording engineer, told me that. He said they recorded a second one, but they used the first. So,
one thing I really love about the Rudolph soundtrack is that it starts with Burl Ives, right? But then it's all Murray Law's orchestration, like on the last half of that record, right?
Right.
I mean, well, like you said, the most variety that album definitely has.
Yeah, there's a lot of good songs there, but Arthur told me that when they used Johnny Marks again for the Ballad of Smokey the Bear in '66, that was also a GE Fantasy Hour special. he was all tapped out on songs because that special didn't really have that many great songs in it. There's a couple though that I like, but overall it doesn't compare to Rudolph. So Johnny Marks pretty much used up all of his great songs in that one special.
Was there ever a falling out between Rankin and Bass?
Oh yeah, they were very different people and served very different functions in the business end. But the reason Jules came in the first place was he was a friend of Arthur's. Arthur started the company on his own, and he kind of finished the company on his own too. Jules was a very private guy, and he wasn't a very sociable guy. So it was a difficult friendship through the years. And I know that I think they were on the opposite politically, and they argued a lot, and they did remain friends though through the end, but Arthur kind of fired Jules after Thundercats. Thundercats and Silverhawks, you know, those later shows that they did. There were some weird things going on with Jules, and Arthur just had enough of it, and he was like, I'm just, you know, he still used the name Rankin Bass even after Jules was not in participation anymore. They did The King and I, and they did another special called Santa Baby, but neither one of them were very good. So Jules left when it was time to leave, you know. Arthur just couldn't stop working. He was kind of like a workaholic, and he wanted to do a stage play of Santa Baby like a year or two before he died. So he was always trying to get things going again.
Up until the very, very end. What is your number one? It's going to be hard, right? Especially for you. But what is your number one Rankin Bass Christmas special? Your personal favorite, number one?
Well, Rudolph would be my personal favorite, mostly because of Tony Peters' designs. They're real simple, and I just like that early look. It almost looks like a UPA style. You were asking about favorite Christmas carols, and even though Rankin Bass did The Stingiest Man in Town, I still like Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, which I just got this regional TV guide from that. That's the one that in the 70s, I saw reruns of it, and I thought they did a really great job at, you know, translating that story to a 1 hour special. And that was the first Christmas special that aired on, I think that was on NBC too in 62. So it preceded Rudolph by 2 years, and it was sponsored by Timex. So I think NBC was looking for another product and Christmas related thing to put out there, and Rudolph was the next thing. But they had no idea Rudolph wasn't going to be just two airings. That's what they paid for, and that's what the plans were. And now we're going on 60. So it's pretty amazing that Rudolph has just kept going and going. But, you know, as far as the other things I like of Rankin Bass, Mad Monster Party is right up there, because Boris Karloff being in a Halloween, you know, monster thing, and they really used all the classic monsters that we know from Universal, but they used them in different ways with the Jack Davis designs. So I really love that. And, you know, Santa Claus Is Coming to Town is a special for me. it just has such a warm-hearted story, and I like it at the end when he says that some people don't like Christmas, and they show a few kind of nasty people, puppet animagic people not happy with Christmas. It's good that they shine the light on all types of people. They did that in Rudolph, and a lot of people don't understand it. They think that Santa's mean and he's a bully and this and that, but he's a complex character. He was written by Romeo Muller to show a complexity. And,
I don't think it was Santa. It was the head elf, in my opinion, that was a little bit of a bully.
But then at the end, you
got to get the toys made on time, right? I mean, you got a job to do.
Yeah, but then he, is real friendly towards Hermie and setting up a dental appointment. So,
yeah.
But I like that Santa better than any Santa because, he's cranky. He doesn't want to eat, but then, he realizes that he's got a job to do, and he's, he realized that, other people have their own place in the world. And I mean, it's a good story, and it's a great way of telling it,
Yeah, for sure. Two of my favorite moments in the Rankin Bass specials, at the end of Nestor the Long-Haired Donkey, it's a very, very heavy religious film. And at the end, I love it when they're all singing around the tree and Santa Claus is there. It's like, okay, yes, we have Santa Claus. We have the Santa Claus side of Christmas, and we have the religious side of Christmas. And they're together singing around the Christmas tree. And my other favorite special is, I love Rudolph's Shiny New Year. It has a lot of the Rudolph feel, connected to the story that you were just talking about. And I love the whole Father Time thing. I love the music in that. And in the beginning, when they're showing all the New Year's Eve decorations, I remember seeing this special probably when I was about 4 years old. And my grandmother had the party favors for New Year's Eve with like the colored polka dots on the noisemakers. There's one of those at the bottom of the tree. So I find there's a very, very heavy element of nostalgia in that special for me, at least,
Yeah, and I watched that on New Year's Eve.
Yes, that's a New Year's Eve special. Yeah, you can't do that before Christmas. Otherwise, you are rushing the Christmas holiday.
And it's funny, on that special, I appeared with Red Skelton's puppet, Father Time at Schiller Theater. And when I called Maury Amsterdam up, it was about a week before he passed away. He was real excited to talk about it. He was 1 million BC. And then when I met Frank Gorshin a couple times, and I brought it up, he was real excited to talk about it. He said, oh, yeah, Red was there and Maury was there. They all recorded together in the studio, which is rare because a lot of times they'll just do one actor at a time. But I guess they all were there in a group format. So there were great voice actors in that one too. And Red Skelton's museum, the guy who runs it came to one of my events. I was at the Hollywood show in Chicago, and he brought the original sheet music from Rudolph's Shiny New Year, and I took pictures of it, and it was all handwritten, and Jules Bass signed it and gave it to Red Skelton. So
wow,
it's kind of neat to see that.
Yeah, talk about a piece of history. Well, Rick, thank you for everything that you do for this Rankin and Bass franchise. And one more time, where can people follow you? Where can they go to buy this cool piece of history that that you are able to give to the public?
Well, my books are at miserbros.com, miserbros.com. And you could actually still get, if I have the books in stock, I get them out right away. I'm waiting for the big book, The Enchanted World of Rankin Bass, because I'm always behind on that one at Christmas time. There's more orders than stock. So I'm constantly waiting for big shipments of that book. But all the other ones I can still make Christmas. And I'm also, like I said, I'm on Etsy. My shop is under Miser Bros. And then my blog is enchantedworldofrankinbass.blogspot.com.
Well, hey, man, thank you so much for sharing all these behind-the-scenes stories, and I look forward to seeing you soon, man. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
All right, cheers, brother. Take care. Hey, we had an internet drop. We got to get back to Brother Rich Brendel here before we bring on good friend Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland. Rich, I'm glad it was your internet connection and not mine.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it dropped for a minute. Now I'm back. So
you know what happened? You put a rum floater. You put a rum floater in your beer, man. I don't believe that the Christmas spirit appreciated that.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Hey, what are you toasting to tonight?
Just to the I had it written down, the mean thing there. I had it on there.
Left and right here, man.
Well, from the lyrics of A Thankful Heart.
Yes.
Hey,
you know what? Hey, let me make this simple for you. Why don't we just toast to the anniversary, the 180th anniversary, I believe, or is it 179th?
Sounds good.
To the Christmas Carol.
Sounds good. The Christmas Carol.
That is the Guinness Book of World Records, my friend. Hey, Merry Christmas to you, brother. Good. I love you, and I will see you on the next show.
All right.
All right, be well, be safe. Hey, guys, before I bring on Richard and Sarah, I want to take a quick, very, very quick commercial break. So hit the head, grab a refreshment, and we'll be back with good friends Richard and Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland.
Execute beam transfer. Show me these Quinsworth toys.
Okay, Dart, let's look at the scanner. Jedi Speeder Bike, $6.99. Scout Walker, only $14.99. Cindy's new Super Home, $49.95. Fisher Price Activity Centre, $14.95. Chatter Telephone, $7.99. Tiny Tears Doll, $14.95. Monopoly, only $8.99. Evil Knievel Stun Cycle, $14.95. And the Atari Video Computer with 2 free cartridges, £113.
I am impressed.
The biggest range of toys with many at last year's prices at your local Quinsworth store now.
Has anybody seen Kris Kringle? It's getting mighty close to Christmas Day.
Get ready for Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
It's useless to resist.
Featuring the space premiere of The Clone Wars. Begins Thursday, December 24th. Part of the 12 Days of Spacemas.
Bring all your friends home for the holidays.
Come with me.
With new scenes, new sound, and new special effects. Light up your holiday like never before. Buy the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition on video.
Hey, hope you guys enjoy those retro commercials as much as I enjoyed and picking them. Hey, we talked about Rankin and Bass, which is a huge part of Christmas. So let's follow that up with good friends Richard and Sarah talking about some Disney classics. Merry Christmas to you guys. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Well, Merry Christmas and a happy holidays and a happy life day to you, my friend. Thanks for having us back on. This is like our highlight of the whole year. After this, we're pretty much shut-ins.
We just need some eggnog and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have your own show. I know you guys are very, very busy with Skywalking Through Neverland, and I appreciate you guys taking time out of your very, very busy schedule to celebrate the holiday season on Machtails from the Cantina. I love having you guys on the show. Are you guys ready for Christmas?
I'll say we are. In fact, we just finished recording our own episode on A Christmas Carol. So yes, it's 180 years ago today that A Christmas Carol was published.
It's amazing.
December 19th of
1843 that Charles Dickens went to Amazon Publishing and said, all right, I got it. Here's my manuscript. Let's get it out there.
The Ghost of Christmas Future did that. And then
you know what, Charles? I'll get it from here. Okay, I'll take care of your whole social media. Charles is like,
so what is
that sounds like a bad idea.
What is your favorite version? I know. Hey, let's not forget Disney's Mickey's Christmas Carol turns 40 this year, 1983. They share the anniversary with Return of the Jedi. What is your favorite version of the Christmas Carol?
I'm going to go with 1992's Muppet Christmas Carol.
Hey, amen to that.
Yeah.
That is my personal favorite. Hey, I want to share something with you guys real quick. I have something that I dug out of the crawl space. I saw the Muppet Christmas Carol in the theater, and I fell in love with the Muppets again before I fell in love with Star Wars again. Yes, they were both sleeping in my life because I was busy with heavy metal music and video games that kind of distracted me from Star Wars and the Muppets. But 92, saw the Christmas Carol in the theater, went out and got some Taco Bell, and I don't have one of these bags, but I have 3 of these bags. And if I show this to my wife, she would think I'm crazy. But this is like some hardcore Muppet Christmas
collecting there.
That's awesome. I love that.
Thank you. And they what they did was they dropped 4 different ornaments, plastic ornaments, in the Happy Meal, and I have all 4 on my Christmas tree, but I only wanted to share that one with you. And this is what they looked like. You had to apply the decals to these.
Okay. Oh wow.
So, anyways, I wanted to share that with you guys, especially since Richard, that is your favorite version of the Christmas Carol.
You know what? I don't have those yet, but you know what, Chris? You will give those to us. You will give those to us.
It is Christmas time, and I think I might be able to make some magic happen. What is your favorite part of the Muppet Christmas Carol?
Boy.
What is the one? What's the one part where you're like, man, that is it? The Ghost of Christmas Future, Present, or the Past?
Well, the Ghost of Christmas Past. That's that ethereal, childlike ghost, which is very creepy and scary. I think anytime you have Kermit on with talking with Rizzo and Gonzo, who's narrating the whole film, Gonzo and Rizzo just make the best comedy duo ever. They are just fantastic. Rizzo is just hilarious. Rizzo is more of the modern audience, where Gonzo is trying to keep in line with what Charles Dickens would say, but Rizzo, he wants to march to his own beat. I love anything having to do with them.
And remember, light the lamp, not the rat. It's very, very important, man. I love the ghost from Christmas Past because it is very ethereal. They shot that underwater, and there's something about talking about the Christmas Carol in general. I love the past. I'm a nostalgic guy. There's something about if I got a visit from a ghost because I was being a jerk that year, I would feel most comfortable with the Ghost of Christmas Past. But I think it would be probably, when I lost my dad after Thanksgiving in '82, I would love to go back in time before he passed away, just to have those warm holiday feelings that I remember and that, I was able to capture on video and photo and that sort of thing. Is there a Ghost of Christmas Past that would scare you guys the most?
Yes, my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Patterson. I think she would scare me the most because she would always be yelling at me, Rich, stop talking about Star Wars. Stop drawing Star Wars. This is never going to lead you anywhere. But on the same side, she's also the one that made me write in my journal every single week. We all had to write in our journal, but she told me I could not get up until I wrote in my journal. And because of her, that a lot of what I have in here in Today in Star Wars history came from those journals, because they all had dates and they all had a running list of what I did on what date, when I saw Star Wars, when I saw Darth Vader at the local mall.
Yeah, your numbers.
Yeah. A lot of what I wrote in those journals made it in here. So, Mrs. Patterson, I take back every bad thing I ever said about you.
Now, hey, Richard, I got to ask you, because you've been on the show before. The book can be purchased. It's better if it's purchased directly from you, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And then people can do that. It's what's the website again?
So yeah, it's skywalkingthrough-neverland.com/book.
Now, what else? I should say, what else happened in this day in history according to Star Wars? What does Star Wars share with the Christmas Carol?
Yes.
Funny you should ask that, because it was on this date 46 years ago in 1977 that Mark Hamill was on the Bob Hope Christmas comedy special.
On this day?
On this day, today, December the 19th, 1977, when Bob Hope had this, every year he would have these big, giant Christmas specials. And on this year, he had the Muppets, he had Perry Como, Olivia Newton-John, and Mark Hamill, and they had a big sketch called Scar Wars. Now, Barf Nader, played by Bob Hope, he kidnapped Santa Claus. Oh boy! And who's gonna save the day? Luke Skywalker. And Barf Nader says, "Oh, Luke, did you bring the Force?" And Luke says, "Yes, I did. The Los Angeles Police Force."
This hopefully can be found on YouTube.
Yes.
It can be found if you go to our Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel. We have the whole thing documented. Every day we have a Today in Star Wars history. So if you look up December 19th, 1977, you'll find our video, which documents this special and all the fun bits from this special
That relate to Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
Yes, it's a trip to say the least. Okay, let's go back. 40 years ago, the Mickey's Disney's Christmas Carol. Where does that rank for you? To me, it ranks high with nostalgia, because my grandparents, I love sun catchers. My grandparents had some of these sun catchers from the special. I was actually surprised that this was not done in the 70s, I believe, because it has that much nostalgia to it. I was surprised that it was done in 83. When was the first time that you guys had stumbled upon this one, and where does this rank for you in the Christmas Carol catalog?
You know what's really weird? My parents were not big like pop culture people. So actually, I didn't see this until all the way through, I would say, until maybe 2020. But on my tree in childhood, we have this. So this is like from 1980s, this ornament here. And it's like the Christmas special, but I don't remember ever seeing it as a kid. Instead, I watched the Rich Little's Christmas Carol.
Oh boy. You're opening up a box here,
from
Chris.
1979. And that was like a special where Rich Little, he was like an SNL comedian, or
No, he was an impersonator.
He's an impersonator.
That was a big thing. Impersonator.
Yeah, so he impersonated the different characters. He was like every character in A Christmas Carol. It's an hour-long special, but he was every character impersonating other things. So like Mrs. Cratchit was Edith Bunker. Thank you.
Yeah. And W.C. Fields was
Scrooge.
Johnny Carson was Bob Cratchit.
Yeah.
So you kind of see where things are going here.
Yeah.
You know what? Can you show that ornament one more time? I love that ornament.
Yeah. So we got
that is so cool.
Well, let's see. So there's,
and you know what? I know that's a Hallmark, because Hallmark made the felt balls that were kind of wrapped with that plastic Easter egg material.
Yeah.
And they had that little gray eye that you're holding.
Yeah.
And it was always in the center of the, man, that is so freaking cool.
And my mom just found another of these ornaments, and I told her, "Keep it, give it to me." So
Now,
yeah.
do you have a lot of your childhood ornaments?
I have a few now. And the rest I've kind of kept for safekeeping, but yeah, we don't put on the tree anymore.
I'm so glad that you asked that, Chris. Well,
Yeah,
yes, I do have a childhood ornament.
That looks like a button that was a customized ornament.
This is actually a necklace, got in 1977. But you know what? I don't use it as a necklace. This is a Christmas ornament we put on the Christmas tree every year.
The first one
is the first Christmas ornament we'll put on a tree every single year.
Now, when did that become an ornament?
This became an ornament, I would say, like maybe when
2007?
When we first got our Christmas tree
2007.
in 2007, we were accumulating all of our Christmas ornaments.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, I've got this. I'm not going to wear this as a necklace anymore. So this is going to be an ornament.
Yeah.
That is a beauty. You know what? I was hoping for a more nostalgic story. I was hoping for that you had that when you were, in 78.
Oh, I did. In 1977, I remember getting this.
But I was hoping that you
wait a minute, hold on. I'm not an English major, but I think someone messed up on Vader. Who did not spell check this? So,
V-A-D-A-R, even
I. Yeah, someone didn't spell check that.
No, even Mr. Poor Grammar myself spotted that one out.
Yeah, so I would wear this as a kid.
So you wore it. You didn't turn it into a Christmas ornament.
Now, you know what? I'm very, very efficient. I like to, if something had worn out its use for one thing, you find a use for something else. Now, it's a Christmas tree ornament. What's a better way to say Merry Christmas than with the Dark Lord of the Sith?
And you know what? And you preserve it. Okay, now for you guys, is it Merry Sithmas or is it Merry Force be with you? Which way are we swinging here?
Merry Force be with you.
Merry Life Day.
we got a little bit of a blend there. Now I like to think that I have a bigger. My Star Wars Christmas collection is kind of silly. I'm a completist in that department. That's probably the only department that I'm a completist in. I'd like to rub that in Steven Sansweet's face. Do you guys have? Let me ask you this. Do you have the Middle Eastern Comic-Con 2-pack droid exclusive ornament that Hallmark did? And this is like in Dubai. There's some deep cut ornaments here that I want to kind of say, you know what, I have these and you don't. Not today.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let me see. What year was that again?
It was the 2-pack droids from A New Hope. From the Dubai Comic-Con. I love the fact that tree is rotating. That is the only way to do it, right?
Yeah.
But we've got so many decorations. We don't even have half of them up on the tree.
Yeah.
But then, like, wait a minute, the ones in the back, they need some loving too. So last year we got this rotating Christmas tree as the stand. So now we can see all the decorations all the time. Yeah,
you know what? I need that in my house.
Yeah, that's one of my. I look at the sculpt on this.
You know what? Now you got to be careful with that when you put it back on because that is glass. I know because I have that one, and that you don't want to drop that on the rotating tree.
Believe me, I'm very careful with my Star Wars stuff.
But who can say no to this guy?
Oh,
he's so cute. We put him on our tree.
You know, yeah. You know what? That's a good idea because I feel like you run out of space, right? So it's like, why not utilize all the Star Wars Christmas stuff that has been released? Hey, I love that. I love the fact that there's a Mickey Mouse next to your Darth Vader back there. Is that up on your mantle or up on the bookshelf there?
Oh yeah, right over there. That's
yes.
That is one of those. Came out a couple of years ago. It's like a tinsel Darth Vader.
What are we looking at?
The Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we also have one that's behind the Christmas tree of Yoda and R2-D2.
I have that, but I'm wondering about the. I'm wondering about. I'll show you guys mine. Here's my Vader there, but I'm wondering about the Mickey Mouse himself. So I got Vader with Boba Fett there, you know.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, the Mickey Mouse. You know, Richard, you guys know, you go to Disney World or Disneyland more than a couple times, you kind of become, well, you guys know, you guys are Disney junkies.
These are popcorn buckets. So at
Oh,
Disneyland,
they do some great popcorn.
yeah.
Yeah.
The sculpted popcorn buckets, here, hold this one, are ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
this is new this year, this one, this little drummer.
Yeah,
And look, he,
we
like,
saw that. It's like, okay, we got to get that.
Yeah, it's so cute. Come on.
But
Oh, and his little cap, like, it's just adorable. Yeah.
And that is
Yeah, this one,
Disneyland and not
years and
Disney
years
World,
ago.
correct?
This is Disneyland.
Disney World. Come on, Chris. Come on.
Well, hey, let's talk
We're
about.
not gonna slum it.
Hey, I went to Disney World in November. I'm going to Disneyland at the end of the year. I'm going to be I'm going to be there at the first of the year. Let's talk about Disney and Christmas. Okay, together. There was this great Christmas documentary on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
That just was a throwback to Disney's
Disney.
connection with Christmas, and a lot of that came from the early days at Disneyland. What do you guys love more at Disneyland? As far as are you guys more historians, or are you guys like, hey, I like the contemporary stuff?
All the above. All the above.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last week on episode 444 of Skywalking Through Neverland, we did a whole breakdown on that documentary. It was just such a great timestamp of every Christmas big occurrence that happened at Disneyland.
Yeah, it was so interesting. But well, I got to tell you, one of our traditions every year is when It's a Small World holiday comes in, like It's a Small World changes to It's a Small World holiday. We have to ride it every year. And once we ride that ride, we all of a sudden are in the Christmas spirit.
Yes. Like
for the whole season.
You start, it's like, okay, it's December, maybe at the end of November, blah. You come out the other end, it's like Christmas has just started.
Yeah. We're ready.
Okay,
Yes.
now I want to ask you guys, well,
birth
first of
canal.
all, this photo, hey, we're getting some 1961 short skirts here. You don't see that today at Disney World or Disneyland. I appreciate the nostalgia. Absolutely. I know, Richard, I know you're a fan of this as well.
I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. I'm looking at the bystanders and the Christmas wreaths. Short skirts. I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, I need to ask you guys, how many rides are different during the holiday season? You said it's a small world.
Yeah, there's Jungle Cruise that they changed to Jingle Cruise.
But not all the time.
I did that one in.
And then Haunted Mansion Holiday.
That's the big one.
That's the big
Haunted
one.
Mansion. Now, Haunted Mansion Holiday, I don't believe they do that at Disney World, but they do that at Disneyland.
Yes.
Okay, so
it takes too long to strike everything and then reset it up for
Change it
Christmas.
Yeah, with their international audience, they can't take that downtime.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
And we got another Disneyland fan here because he's from California that just chimed in. Disneyland's the best. Hey, it's the original. It's kind of like saying, what do you like more, Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back? I know, Richard, you're going to say Star Wars. I'm going to say Empire Strikes Back because that was kind of the first one that I grew up with.
Yeah, I like to play favorites. I like to say they're all my favorites.
Yes, exactly. Hey, producer Matthew Rooney also doesn't like to rate his Star Wars films as well. Okay, so we got Jingle Cruise. That you can do that in Disney World, but we have Small World. We have Haunted Mansion. Is there another ride that I you know what? I am going to be there after New Year's Day. Am I going to miss out on that?
No, it goes through, I believe, January 6th, because that's like Three Kings Day.
Oh, yes, yeah, right. Because the 12th day of Christmas starts on Christmas Day.
Right.
Yes. And we got the Epiphany and all that. Okay, so January 6th is the final day to catch this.
Yes.
6th or 7th. I can look it up if you want.
But if you're there after New Year's, then you're safe.
Okay.
And you're gonna want to go to Star Tours because the Star Speeder goes through the North Pole.
Wait,
I'm kidding about that. No.
Because when I was at Disney World last month, I had rode on Star Tours 7 times in one day. and it was quite amazing on all the places that it keeps going to. I would love to see the North Pole in Star Tours. That would be, but you're lying to me, is what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to go there. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's right. You got me really excited for a minute.
Santa would say, "You're on the naughty list. You're not going to be a rebel spy." Sorry.
Hey, you know what?
We know what you did last summer.
Yeah,
let's
I'd like
go back
to
to
Space Mountain do an overlay. They do an overlay sometimes. They do Ghost Galaxy, which for Halloween, but they haven't done an overlay for Christmas. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that's
a missed opportunity.
That'd be a lot of fun. Hey, I know you guys have been, Richard, especially you've been a Star Wars fan since day one. We all have our feelings on the holiday special. I'm a fan. I know you're a fan. But let's talk about something that does not get enough love, especially the Star Wars holiday special. I feel like has gained a lot of ground over the years. Still waiting for it to be released on Disney Plus. Hopefully the documentary that was just released will change that. But let's talk about Christmas in the Stars for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
John Bon Jovi's very, very first professional recording. I feel like this is definitely an underrated part of the Star Wars holiday world. How about you guys?
We did a whole episode on this too, breaking down every single track and giving behind the scenes information on John Bon Jovi was sweeping up the bathrooms. They said, "John, come over here for a second. We need you to sing R2-D2. We wish you a Merry Christmas, okay? Just do it."
And he did a damn good job.
Yeah,
he did a very, very good job. Even Kenny G. This was one of his first professional gigs, and I met him once, and I said, "I loved your work on Christmas in the Stars," and then I walked away. He's like, "What? What was that?"
Wait, hold on a minute. Kenny G was on Christmas in the Stars?
Kenny G, yeah. He was one of the musicians.
I never knew that. Okay, you guys, this is a Skywalking Through Neverland exclusive that just mashed up with the Machtails exclusive here. Kenny G, is he? How did you find out this information? I had no idea.
We did deep dives on Christmas in the Stars when we did our breakdown a couple of years ago, and this is one of the things that was just uncovered, that Kenny G was there. He was one of the sessionists.
Wait a minute. Wait,
a couple of years ago,
you had said this. When you had met him, you had said this to him, but you did not have him sign a copy of it.
No, when you live in LA, you just bump into people.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And then
my wife
if you can say,
really at a party?
Is that a party? Yeah. And if you can say something like that and just walk away, you leave more of an impact.
Yeah.
And look at his face was like he just seen the ghost of Christmas past.
That's man.
So he knows people out there know of his work.
Now, do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite track off that album?
I'm gonna say, what can you get a Wookiee for Christmas?
I like Bells, Bells, Bells.
Bells, bells, bells. Yeah, that was the one that was on the episode of Hawkeye last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they included that a background track in the Disney Plus series Hawkeye. You could hear bells, bells, bells during one of the scenes, and it was even in the credits.
Okay, I have a void in my collection because I got the reissue when it came out, I believe, in '96 on CD. And then for years, it was hard to find, CD. So they finally released it 2019, re-released it in 2019. Oh. They released Red, Green, and Gold. I bought 2 of the 3, and I can't. I can't. Oh. I'm like, why did I not buy all 3 right then and there?
Oh, interesting.
Do you guys own all 3 of those colored CDs that they released?
No. You had wanted that for Christmas, and I scoured the internet and found the CD version of it that was available at that time.
Oh, we are having technical difficulties. We made it this far along. is this the Ghost of Christmas Past or is this the Ghost of Christmas Present? Matthew, are you still? Did we lose them?
No, it's on there, and they've been kind of in and out for the past few minutes.
Okay. You know what? We will bring them back. We will bring them back. Matthew, we always do a come on man moment segment. I want to do mine, holiday edition. Look, it snowed when I got back from Orlando, and it's gonna be fucking 50 degrees on Christmas Day. Come on, man. I live in the Midwest. I want a fucking white Christmas, man. There's something about snow that makes it feel that much more festive. But I got to tell you, when that snow goes away, there is nothing worse than snow after New Year's Eve. What about you, man? What's your come on, man moment? You got a holiday edition?
It's not exactly holiday related, although maybe it's playing into it. But I just got this new house, and I moved in about a month and a half ago. And the first week, I had somebody cut up like all the bushes, like trim everything, and they piled it all up in front of the house. And so we called the city to come pick it up, and they haven't picked it up yet. It's been like a month and a half. And I went up there, and I was like, "Is the pile bad? Like, did you all skip it because I didn't cut it right?" And they're like, "No, they're just really busy and they'll get there eventually." And so, come on, man. Like, I have this pile of stuff for 2 months almost out there in the front yard. People probably think that I'm lazy about it.
Trying to make it look all nice for the holidays, I mean,
yeah.
It's crazy. Hey, I'm gonna bring you back. I got Richard and Sarah back on the line. Is it a line? The stream, I should say. So, anyways, you got this CD for him for Christmas. Yes, at least one of them.
Yeah, we got the CD, and I told Sarah one of my biggest regrets is that in 1980, my aunt said, "Do you want this Christmas in the Stars album?" I said, "Or you can get me the Darth Vader Star Destroyer from Kenner. You can get that." So I got that instead of Christmas in the Stars, and then it was never seen again. Yeah. I told Sarah that I'd never gotten it, and she that one Christmas she performed a Christmas miracle and got me a copy.
Yeah, I found one. Yeah. So it was the older, it wasn't the 2019 release. It was like the 2000, the CD earlier version.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was released before that.
I want to, did you get the one with the legit cover? Did you get the one with like the generic ornaments on the front?
No, this is legit. This is the Miko legit re-release.
Awesome. Hey, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining me on the show. I know you guys have a very, very busy schedule. People can check you out at skywalkingthrough.neverland.net or .com?
.com.
And you guys can be listened to for free anywhere where podcasts are streamed.
That's right, and YouTube.
We're doing a big Christmas Carol breakdown episode on episode 445 coming out this week. We list all of the pop culture renditions of a Christmas story, a Christmas Carol, the history of a Christmas Carol, and some of the latest incarnations like Spirited.
Mm-hmm.
And
good stuff.
If you don't know anything about Christmas Carol, you soon will.
I was listening to the Spirited soundtrack today. That's some damn good music,
It's
really,
rocking.
Really well, hey, man, Merry Christmas.
Favorite version.
Merry Christmas to you guys. And hopefully I'll see you when I get to Anaheim. I will keep in touch. All right.
Oh, please do. Please do.
All right.
See you in a few weeks then.
See you. Matthew, we gotta do the Patreon name draw. You know what? We are running out of time, and I was wondering if we were going to stop in Malfunction Junction, and we're not stopping today because Duffy, I got it.
Yeah, he probably got stuck to the train bench or something and missed it.
I think he did. I really wanted to visit my old friend Duffy because we have not had him on in a long, long time. Hey, you know what? I got to tell you. Thanks for doing everything tonight. Thanks for doing everything last night. This show, having Sarah and Richard on and having Rick Goldschmidt on, I mean, yesterday I felt like it was more of the opener. I feel like my Christmas spirit is like my Christmas spirit meter had jumped up I raised my own spirit tonight.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I'm ready.
You know, I got to share this with you real quick. This is something that we've done every year. Went to a lively mall, I should say, and got the family photo with Santa. You know, I feel like if the minute my daughter doesn't want to do that, I'm gonna shed a tear. You know, I really am.
But it's just temporary. Like she might, for a few years not want to, but then in her 20s it'll come back.
Yeah, I think so because I'm going to keep that alive.
Yeah.
I am going to keep that alive. So okay, so your prize that you won on a show, the 50th show, is in the mail. And Rich Brendel won last night. Who do we have tonight? It was kind of quiet with the Patreon members.
Yeah.
Got to do this with let's see, we got Boston Dan. Is Boston Dan tuning in live?
I saw Mallwalker and I saw Rich.
And a big shout out to Cody Mallwalker Moore, producer of the show, tuning in tonight. It was nice to see him. Hey, another producer, man. He's going to join us for the Patreon gift exchange, if you will. Travis Dyer, who has jumped up 3 times, I believe, like yourself. And I gotta appreciate you guys so much that start off at a low level and just, hey, you know what? Fuck it.
I was never a low level. I've been producer from the first day I joined.
From day one. God bless you, man. And then of course this guy supports the show but never tunes in. Brother Glenn Nelson. He never tunes in unless he is on the show. Matthew, I don't know when our next show is going to be because it's, Christmas is in about 5 days.
Yeah.
I would love to do a New Year's show, but I'm going to go out to your old stomping grounds, San Diego, California.
You enjoy Disneyland.
Anaheim and all that. And then, we'll start the show. We'll start the new year with our next live show. Hey, was this year, you bought a house this year. Was this year good to you? Or was it one of the years that you're going to be like, thank God this year's over?
No, I think it's a good year overall. In general, my life's pretty good. Like there's a lot of good stuff going on, but yeah. I got the house this year and my research is going really well. And actually my son just came. I haven't really told anybody this yet, but my son is moving here with me. He just got here. I've got all his stuff. We set up his bedroom and I got him enrolled in the high school here. So he'll spend his last year and a half of high school here with me, which is nice. I haven't had him with me, full time for a few years. So I'm excited about that too. So I think, it's great. Things are going really well here.
And I know some people that, I feel like after we went through 2020, it's like, we'll fucking take any year after that we can.
That was interesting. It was an interesting year for me too, because my kids were on virtual school. So I got to have them quite a lot that year because they didn't have to be with their mother.
It's one of those things where it's like, let's not take things for granted, right? Let's live every day like it's going to be our last. Those things where, you have to enjoy the moment, as I tell my daughter always reminds me, So, hey, I take 2020 over there. Yeah, Brother Rich Brendel has had a really rough year this year. And I know, I know, Rich, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. I started my year off on a rough note, but I told my wife today at dinner, I said, you know what? When I introduce myself to people from here on out, starting in the year 2024, I'm going to be kind of weird and just say, hello, my name is Mr. Silver Lining. Because I always find a silver lining. Hey, you guys that are in the Chicago area, we got the last live show of the year. It'll be the last official Machtails show being recorded on audio for you Patreon members. And, of course, you guys that are Patreon members, you guys get more content after tonight. A Lulu Brewery in Chicago. That's an old Rebel Force Radio stomping ground there. I'll be with good friend and brother Tyler Page. Matthew, you're going to be home for the holidays? You got family coming over? Is your mom going to visit during that time, or what's happening?
No, my mom won't be here, but my kids are here. I got them this past weekend, so we're all having a fun time here, and I got some other friends here that we'll hang out with, so we're good.
Hey, before I let you go, before we end this show, it feels like Christmas when? Fill in the blank.
Oh. It feels like Christmas when I drink eggnog.
Hey, you're a foodie, I know.
Yeah, it's always the food and the sweets, especially.
Maybe I should, I gotta, it's only 9:30 at night. I gotta wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'm like, maybe that's what I need to even take the Christmas spirit meter that much higher. The visit with Santa Claus did the show tonight. Maybe I gotta end it with an eggnog nightcap.
There you go.
You got a favorite? You got a favorite brand?
No, just whatever I can find where I live. It's kind of a crapshoot. I've actually thought about. I have some friends that make their own. I thought maybe I should learn how to make my own.
You know what? When you find that out, let's do that on the Machtails Christmas special next year. Okay. And let me know in advance if it's something that I really want to know what is inside eggnog.
Yeah.
So, hey, Matthew Rooney, thanks again for everything you do behind the board. I am signing off for my producer, Matthew Rooney, there. And I am your show host and leader of this circus, Cris Macht. And we thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. And we will catch you guys next time on another episode of Machtails from the Cantina Live, this portion of all the programming that we give you guys all through the year. Hey, so long. Good night. Be well.